have the Rmax in the Hillbilly Garage today because we are installing our very first performance accessory onto our Rmax 1004. First of several to come over the next several weeks, months, however long it takes. Not too long though, because I'm excited to unleash the power of this beast. So what are we doing? Are we going to do a performance tune? Are we going to install a performance sheave? Well, we're going to start off by upping the cool factor of our Rmax 1000 by installing a performance muffler and getting that exhaust note sounding just a little more angry. So this exhaust is a complete bolt-on kit. It's made by Rudd Performance Motorsports, RPM. He actually reached out to me and said, hey, I'm making some performance mufflers for the Rmax. I think this is actually their second version. It's a more smaller, sleek version than their original. He said, would you like to do a review for me? I said, well, absolutely anything to make the Rmax sound better and to open up the exhaust a little bit, I'm all for. So we're gonna slap this puppy on here, and I say slap, not mockingly, but there literally is only 4 bolts to this install. There's probably gonna be more involved with getting the stock muffler off than putting this new one on. So installation is gonna be very simple and easy. Let's see what we have to do. So we're at the back of our Rmax, and of course our muffler makes up this whole big section here, although a majority of this is just this plastic, this isn't really the heat shield. The heat shield's kind of in behind it. This is more of a decorative piece. We gotta pop this off, which these little clips here, or these plastic caps, I guess you'd call them, should just pop out. And I'm taking it, there's bolts under there to unscrew, and that guy should come off. Yeah, there's nothing up there, so just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I take it these should just pop off with the screwdriver. Oh yeah, push them one way. There's a little ear. Am I pushing the wrong way? There we go. You'll see these have a big ear and 2 little ears. You want to push from the 2 small to the 1 big, and these will pop right out. 2 small, 1 big, boop. I remember when these first came out, the press releases was showing, you know, pre-production model pictures, and all the prototype ones they were running and testing were missing half of these. They fell out. We've got about 800 miles on our Rmax. They're all still in there, so they must have done something to tweak them a little bit to keep them from falling out, because we haven't lost any yet. I do believe the first few that were sold, people were saying they were losing them, but not ours. All right, is that a 10 mil? And my suspicions were correct. Oh, I can't get that in there. These are just held in place with bolts. I have to do those 2 by hand though, because I can't get in there with the impact. And we can discard that. Oh, look at the mud. Blech. Now it looks like for this heat shield, which is awful muddy, we have 1 bolt there, 1 bolt there, both 10 mils, and I think that's all it's holding that guy on there. Oh, those are 12s. So the heat shield bolts are 12 millimeter. You know what? Does that go the whole way around the exhaust? Okay, so it's rounded. So we'll have to take the exhaust off, these exhaust bolts off at the same time, and it must all come out one piece. So that means we gotta get into the side here to unbolt our exhaust pipe from the header pipe. All right, after looking at this, it's gonna be a lot easier to jack this up and take a wheel off. So that is what I did, but look at that suspension travel. That is pretty amazing for a 4-seater. It actually kind of has me worried though, because when you see we're at full drop here, look at our CV joint angles. That probably isn't too healthy. Now, the only time you're ever gonna have the suspension on both sides fully dropped like this is if you're jumping it. because with the sway bar, with one side down and pressure on, it won't allow this one to go as far and vice versa. But still, that's kind of alarming. I know if you guys have broke axles repeatedly on the back of these, and I wonder if that isn't due to those angles when your suspension's fully dropped like that on the rear. Because that's a lot. So that's impressive you get that much, but again, those CV joints, I can't say as they're going to be very happy at that angle, so I don't know. It might be advisable to run limit straps. Like I said, sway bar should keep some of it, but something to definitely keep an eye on with these guys anyway. But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this tire off so I can get in there a little easier, and I'll show you what bolts we gotta take off next. Now that we're in here, we can see where our muffler joint is right here. This is right in line with the tire and the A-arm. We have one spring-loaded bolt here and one right here. We're probably gonna have to get to it at hand to save from having to pull the shock. I don't think we'll need to. I think I can just get in there. And those look to be, those are probably 12 or 14 millimeter as well. Let's try, they look bigger than 12. Let's try 14. Let's see how good my eyeball is. Yep, 14 millimeter, right on the money. All right, those are off. Now there should just be 2 bolts in the back to remove. And that old stock massive canister muffler should come off. All right, and those I bet you are 12s as well. They are. And that's off. I don't know what's gonna fall. Muffler loose. What has got that? Something still got that heat shield fastened. Oh! Ha 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 ha! There are 2 bolts in the back. You guys can't see this very well probably, but there are 2 bolts into this heat shield that are up. Can you see my finger? And it's dark. Right there, and one on back there. That has this heat shield bolted up into the frame that way. How are those? They've been through here? Oh boy, guys, I don't know. They'd have to be under this black piece here. It's probably not a big issue if you have a 2-seater with a dump bed, but the 4-seaters, yeah, not so much. Alright guys, so I'm sitting here looking at this, trying to figure out how in the world I can get that heat shield off without having to tear apart all the panels on the inside there to get to the bolts. And I realized there's this little piece right here that has 2 bolts. So this has a little separate piece on top that if I unbolt this, should, I'm thinking, yep, there's a seam there all the way around, come off and allow this to slip and a muffler to slip off. Then we can see if we can get them bolts out. Worst case scenario, we'll just have to cut them off or something, huh? But we'll see. Let's pop these off and see if my suspicions are correct, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna be. Oh, yes they are. Look at that. And there comes our muffler. Woo! With a bang. So now we have that off, we can see how this design can be rather restrictive because it comes, exhaust comes out of our header into our muffler here, and then it's a sharp 90. You know, you might think, well, there's a nice smooth bend in there. Looking down in there, it isn't. It is a sharp 90. That's just perforated in there. I know you can't see it. So the exhaust gas actually comes in, slams into the bottom, and that's going to create some turbulence in there, which will keep the flow from going out as smooth. Whereas the new muffler from RPM is a nice mandrel bent piece right into our muffler. Now we gotta see if we can get this heat shield off. As you guys can now easily see, we've got a bolt there and a bolt there we gotta try to get off. There is just enough room to get in there with a wrench, although it's gonna be very slow and time consuming. These bolts back in here are 12 millimeter too, by the way. I don't think I said that. Oh, did they? Yes, they did. Okay, one more bolt. But it's easy to get out with that bent out of the way. Looks like we got one attached here on the side too. And it must come out through. Okay, right there. That's easy to get to. Shoo! There we go. Not that it really makes much difference in our application because it's not like we're racing, but there is a huge difference in weight here. This maybe weighs 2 pounds. This thing's got to weigh at least 10 to 15 pounds. So you're shaving a ton of weight. I mean, look at the size difference. It probably doesn't matter being a sport recreation. I don't plan on racing it. But still, that amount of weight, that's a pretty good performance gain as far as in the racing world would be concerned. All right, I don't know. Well, get back your washer. Which way is going to be the best? It may be best to try to put this on loosely here first to hold it. And then line that other one up. Just enough to hold it. And then we can line these guys up.
Way better.
Oh yeah, she lines up pretty beautifully. I think we'll go bottom bolt first. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use the springs off the factory bolts on here. And I put the nuts towards the back so we can get right straight in with the impact. So the nuts on the new bolts provided by RPM with the muffler are 17 mil. Let's get this kind of level as best as we can. I'm just going to go off of this bar right here and kind of make it as level as I can. 14. Good. Wow, that is so clean looking. Now finish tightening those bolts. Looks so clean and there's so much more room under there. Wow, go ahead, jack it back up, put the tire back on. We'll see what this bad boy sounds like now. All right, guys, here we go. First initial startup in the hillbilly garage, which will probably amplify the sound. Oh boy, I don't know what to expect. Oh, nothing when I'm in gear. Oh my! That is deep. That almost has a V8 muscle car sound to it, out of a parallel twin. That is awesome. Oh, I like it. No, let me take that back. I love it. Let's head out to the field and we'll get some decibel readings. Yes, it is quite a bit louder, but man, oh man, does it sound good. This face right here is a natural reaction face. That sounds so good. And one thing I forgot to mention and show you guys too, I want to make sure to do this for those of you that ride, you know, say your state parks or state game land. Now some places now do have a decibel limit, but I'm not worrying about that. As you can see in here, this does have a built-in spark arrestor, so you are compliant to ride all the national parks and state forests and stuff that you're allowed to ride ATVs on. So with that built-in spark arrestor, you have no limitations on where you can ride. Let's head out to the field and get what our new decibel readings are. Okay, wife's initial reaction. Wow. She's holding it in, guys, but I can tell she's like, that is loud.
That's loud. Muffle what?
What? So I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not. We were averaging about 78 decibels. Hard drives to the floor. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that with the sun or not, but we maxed out at 97.6 on the stock exhaust, doing some revs. Go ahead and kill her. We maxed out at 114.8.
Yeah, that was 117.5.
So a little louder inside the cab under hard acceleration, 101.1. Here we go. I wonder if it has more to do with like the tone, because it's not registering. That was 109.8. I can't remember what the stock was, but it wasn't much lower than that, was it?
But it's prolonged. When you're accelerating,
It is prolonged.
Prolonged loud noises produce more than a short bang. You have muscles inside your ears that actually stop your eardrum from vibrating as much to protect your ears.
So for those of you that don't know, my wife is a speech therapist. So she knows all about this kind of stuff as far as hearing loss.
So the max on that is 93.6. Okay, 116 max.
Alright, we're going to do a downhill engine braking decibel test, because that usually gets the exhaust popping and roaring pretty loud. So I'm going to accelerate to 15-20 miles an hour, let off the gas, and just coast. And we'll see what our max decibel reading is. I guess max won't work because it picked up our acceleration, but we were averaging about 88 decibels there, coasting with the engine braking. Averaging 98.
last we averaged 98 decibels on the downhill engine braking. So let's turn around and we'll hit the hill about 25, 30 to try to get that peak rev exhaust note going up a hill and see what we get for that. So let me get the speed, then I'll hit play. High gear. .9 max decibel reading. We were averaging about 105 till I let off. We maxed at 107. I think that is quite a bit louder than the stock. So RPM performance exhaust, definitely much louder than stock. Is it going to be for everyone? It's going to be, honestly, it's going to be too loud probably for a lot of you guys, especially if you're buying an Rmax 4 as a family hauler. It is probably going to be too loud. However, if you bought maybe a 2-seater Rmax or even a 4-seater Rmax and you are wanting to keep up with all your sport machines out there you're riding with, we're going to do a separate video and check the performance with this exhaust, but I can tell there's a definite bump in power with the exhaust being able to flow out a little better. And if you're a hot rod guy like me that loves that good old-fashioned rumble as loud as you can get it, you're absolutely gonna love this. And I can't help but smile just humping on it. Yes, it hurts my ears, but I don't care. It sounds so good to me. Now I know RPM's first edition of their performance muffler was a bigger one. It may be quieter. I'll get a hold of Garrett Rudd, the owner, and see if they still offer that original one they made with a bigger muffler. It might be a little bit quieter. We'll see if maybe we can get one of those to test as well. Real quick, I just wanted to cut in here as I'm editing this video to let you know I did get a hold of RPM. They do offer their original muffler and it is a lot quieter. And the best part is they're going to send me one of those as well. So I'll be able to do the exact same thing. We'll test it out, see how loud it is compared to stock, and we'll do some performance tests with it too. And then we'll have both mufflers from RPM that we'll be able to compare and help you guys decide which one would be best for you. Back to the video. But on the next video with this guy, we're going to go ahead and do a draggy time and a short course time to see if we did get a boost in performance. Because by the seat of the pants feel, it feels like she's a little quicker off the line. So I think we did gain a little bit with it. Look forward to seeing what other kind of performance products and goodies we can install on the Rmax. I already have one coming with another one coming shortly after that. We're going to unlock the potential of this absolute beast. I know it'll be hard to truly judge the sound of this on speakers or in headphones, but let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the sound of the Rmax with the RPM performance exhaust. And until next time, keep on riding.